What's up guys? Some people asked me to make a gear guide for Wretched Defiler Spectre, so here's one. Also wanted to say that if you want to start this build, I wouldn't recommend this. I mean from the level 1 to level 100, because I think it's impossible to play this early, since you at least need Wretched Defilers that spawn on tier 17, so you have to get to tier 17s somehow before you can play this build. I would recommend you level and play something else before that, and then just respec into this build. Let's start with the wand. You need at least item level 83 in order to try to get that tier 1 cast speed, so you just buy this convoking wand with the tier 1 minion damage fractured. Then you spam these 4 fossils to get +1/+1. Sometimes you'll have to annul. It's really easy to get unlucky here, but eventually you'll craft it. It takes 4 clicks on average to get +1/+1. So we finally got lucky. Now we have to go prefixes cannot be changed and reforge caster. We got unlucky here, getting tier 7. So we go again. Tier 5, we go again. Tier 3, that's okay, I'm gonna leave it. If you want more, you just go again, but each time you go again, you can get unlucky and get 3 suffixes, so you'll have to annul, and if you'll delete one of the prefixes, you'll have to spam fossils again, so be careful. So now we just craft on trigger, and basically that's it. You could also slam on eggs to get, for example, crit chance, but it's not needed since Wretched Defiler's base crit chance is 5%, so it's kinda useless. The next one is ring. You just buy the bone ring with tier 1 minion damage from the auction. Make it rare and spam bound fossils to get your suffixes. You need at least 2 good suffixes, then you can harvest reforge or just spam bound fossils until you get 3 good suffixes. You won't, it's gonna be a little bit cheaper. So here I got tier 1 res and tier 1 cast speed, so I decide to suffixes cannot be changed and reforge life, and we get tier 1 minion life. It's a little bit more expensive, but that's what you can do just to save some time. But we got lucky, so we got our suffixes really fast. Now we just go suffixes cannot be changed again and reforge life again. Tier 1 life, we got lucky again, and that's pretty much it. We just craft on mana cost, and that's it. This league you could also try recombinators. For example, you could go with minion damage and cast speed on one ring, and tier 1 LRS and tier 1 life on the second ring, and recombinate them and hope for the best. The odds of crafting full tier 1 minion ring this way is not that bad. The next one is gloves. You just buy the fractured life. You could also go for ward gloves, not only armor evasion, just something you prefer. Then you just spam the resist essence you prefer and until you hit spell suppression tier 1. But here I got lucky, I hit tier 1 res with tier 2 spell suppression, so I decide to leave it. Then you go suffixes cannot be changed and veiled orbit. Craft on one of the converts to block and unveil. Here we got unlucky, we didn't get anything, so we have to go again, and we got our +2 AoE. Now we just craft on something else, like some life and armor. If your minions are dying, often you also could go for this mod. Minions recover 100% of their life when you focus. You can just bench craft it on your gloves instead of one of the resistances. but then you'll have to get this resist somewhere else, so make sure you keep your resistances capped. So the boots are kinda interesting. You have to buy runic sabatons with, for example, Elder Influence or just any other influence and reroll it using Harvest Bench if the Elder one is too expensive. And then you just chaos spam it until Spectre gems. It takes on average 53 chaos to get one, but you also have to get any random Elder modifier with it as well to click the Orb of Dominance. How it works, it deletes one of the influence modifiers but upgrades the second one. So in this case we have to upgrade the Spectre gem. As you can see now it's elevated and we're done for this phase. Now you just need another boots. You need any Crusader boots, at least item level 85 to get tier 1 max fire res. So you just make them rare and spam Reforge Fire till you get tier 1 max fire res. It's pretty common, but just keep in mind that you have to have the second Crusader modifier as well to elevate the fire res. So as you can see right here, we got two Crusader modifiers, so we can use our Orb of Dominance, and we get lucky if we elevate the fire res first time. For some reason my Awakener's Orb is not working here, so just make sure you click Awakener's Orb first, then you click it on your Crusader boots, and then you click it on your Elder boots, because these Crusader boots are gonna get deleted and merged into these ones. So you'll have something like this. You got two elevated suffixes, but sometimes, since everything else is reforged randomly, you can get lucky and get like tier 1 resist, for example, in your suffix, or tier 80 resist if you're unlucky. Then you'll have to annul, but the odds that you're gonna break your boots are pretty high. Let's suppose that we don't get the third suffix and we got two shitty prefixes. So we have to go suffixes cannot be changed and reforge fire. We got unlucky. Now we got lucky. So we get our suffixes. Now for the prefixes, we have one bad prefix that we don't need. So we go suffixes cannot be changed and scouring just to leave our suffixes. Now we go suffixes cannot be changed again, Veiled Orb, craft on something to block, and unveil. We actually got lucky and got the perfect movement speed first try. You also can get movement speed onslaught and also something else, but any movement speed will do. This one is the best one. Now we just craft on life and that's it. You also can slam an Exalt in order to try to get some ward. If you want more ward, you also, before slamming the Veiled Orb, you can go for suffixes cannot be changed Reforged Defense, but keep in mind that you still can break your boots if you'll get 3 prefixes. The next one is this Abyss Jewel. You have to buy Fractured, Perfect Rolled, increased damage. This is really important because there is not many ways to scale minion damage in this build, and this is one of them. So this should be perfect roll. Then you just reforge caster in order to get the tier 1 cast speed. And you also need flat life and flat lightning damage. It takes a lot of time to craft these. It's not really expensive, but it's just really time consuming. And then eventually you'll get it, but you have to spam a lot. If you want higher tier of lightning damage, you also could reforge lightning, but this way it's much more difficult to get the cast speed, so I wouldn't recommend it. Just spam reforge caster. As you can see, my jewels far from perfect. They only got 20 flat life as well as tier 3 to tier 4 flat lightning damage. You can craft much better ones if you just spend more time. The next one is Large Cluster Jewel. You needed at least item level 84 as well as 12 passives. Then you just make it rare and reforge caster until you get tier 1 cast speed with tier 1 increased effect, as you can see right here. And then you have to slam the Fracture Orb. We get lucky and fractured the mod we need first time. You can get really unlucky here. You could also fracture tier 1 cast speed, so it's actually not 25% to success but 50. Both outcomes are possible. You just craft it a little bit different, but they both will do. The only difference between them is if you fracture cast speed, you'll have to reforge Chaos for the Chaos resistance or reforge life. But in my opinion, crafting these with fractured effect is a little bit easier, so that's what we're gonna do in this video. Now we just reforge caster until we get something we need. So as you can see, this one would be really good if we hit tier 1 life instead of energy shield, so we annul. And we actually slam tier 2 life, which is usable, but you have to go for tier 1 life, of course, just to get more life. But this one is decent anyways. In terms of flasks, minion recovery is mandatory, as well as increased life recovered. So you could just buy the fractured minion life recovery and then alt spam it. You could also alt spam all of these flasks, but I wouldn't recommend it since it's gonna take you a lot of time. Just buy them from the auction house and that's it. Also, increased effect and reduced duration should be tier 1. It will help you to sustain your flasks. Same with the medium cluster jewel, just buy it from the auction house, it's not worth crafting it. Everything else are uniques. So the body armor, for example, these two corrupts are perfect, but they're really expensive, so I ended up running alpha temples myself. Same with this shield. Chance to block spell damage should be perfect rolled, as well as you have to get some chance to block spell damage in your implicit. Reduced area damage is not mandatory, it's just a bonus. You can get Wraith Lord with % life corruption. Lightning damage taken as fire is mandatory. The second implicit could be % life, is the best one. The second one, I guess, is additional physical damage reduction, like right here. And the third one you could get is global defenses, but I think it's worse than additional physical damage reduction, but I'm not sure. Also this ring, you can just spam life essences until you get cold and lightning resistance, and then you just have to slam that reflection, whatever it's called, reflecting mist. Wow, they're expensive right now. They were like 4 divines each when I was crafting this ring, but maybe you'll have to find the crafted one. You could also try to get the corruption on your belt, for example, determination aura effect. Also wanted to mention that if you're using Storm Shout in your build, it's not gonna work with Tempest Shield. So Tempest Shield grants you immunity to shock, but it's not gonna work with Storm Shout. You actually have to scale your chance to avoid being shocked. So what I did is I've used Elegant Hubris with 80% chance to avoid being shocked, and you're also getting some elemental avoidance from these nodes over here. So these ones, and that's why Storm Shout is working. The important nodes you should find on your Elegant Hubris are obviously minion life and minion damage. You could also get some chaos resistance if you lack some, and increased effect of your auras is always handy. Elegant Hubris should be Caspiro to get this Supreme Ostentation node that allows you to completely ignore attribute requirements on all your gear pieces. You could also combine this Elegant Hubris with Thread of Hope with very large or massive ring in order to get these nodes and these nodes, maybe these nodes, like something you'll find on Elegant Hubris. Also, right here on Unending Hunger, it's working only if you got 40 intelligence in radius. So this node grants us 20 intelligence, as well as this one is 10 intelligence and this one is 10 intelligence as well. So it is working this way. But if you just make sure it has 40 intelligence in radius, because sometimes you can use a tattoo on one of these nodes and just forget about it and it won't work. It won't grant your minions Soul Eater. So that's kind of important. Also, don't forget to use tattoos. You need a lot of life recovery from Flask ones, and also you can use some to cap your spell suppression. Make sure to put Light of Meaning into this socket, because it grants you a lot of chaos resistance. As you can see, just from this socket I'm getting 41 chaos resistance, which is more than from Elegant Hubris node. Also make sure to put your Fortress Covenant in one of these Blaster Jewel sockets, because as you can see it says notable passive skills in radius are transformed to instead grant minions take 20% increased damage, but since we don't have any notables in our radius, it's just a Cluster Jewel, we're not getting that debuff. This double determination watcher is perfect because we're getting reduced extra damage from crits, and if you got this corruption on your body armor, we get 100% reduced extra damage from crits this way. Also, we are using this impossible escape with the solipsism node, which allows us to pick these nodes without spending any passive points on these nodes that grant us nothing. If the solipsism one is too expensive, or you just want a better option, or you found a better Elegant Hubris, you can switch to the Magebane node. It will allow us to pick up all these nodes, so the Magebane option is maybe a little bit better even. The problem is the Magebane Impossible Escape doesn't allow us to take that much nodes around it, comparing to the Solipsism one, as you can see. But yeah, this is also an option. Anyways, I think that's it. If you have any thoughts or questions, just leave a comment, I'll answer